Hey there, and welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 2: The Ghosts of Christmas Past. My name is Pete, and today we complete the second and final part of this Christmas-themed adventure. The first part went up yesterday. If you haven't watched it yet, I invite you to do so, and today we're going to wrap up our little adventure. Just a quick refresher on the events so far. 3 years after the Secret Santa incident, we find ourselves in Outer Savin Mall, where our goal is to stop the Ghosts of Christmas Past, an extremist group that has gained control over Santa's hat, and with that, control over the world's entire child population. That is also why children are once again our main adversaries. However, we also already had a tricky boss battle against the Ghost of Christmas Present, and we are currently trying to get down to the mall's first floor, where the remaining ghosts are trying to meet with the President. Honestly, the game's plot is both simple and convoluted at the same time. I suppose that's just the way it should be, as a humorous nod to the Metal Gear Solid series. Now, let's get on with it then. We are currently fast-forwarding through a lengthy section of backtracking, because after roughly 50 minutes of gameplay, at the end of the last episode, we were told to go all the way back to where we started. And that is exactly where we now find ourselves, back on the roof of Outer Savin Mall. We were promised to find a helpful item here, and maybe you already saw it on the left side of the screen there, and maybe you can already also try and guess what will happen once we have it acquired. One way or another, I suppose we will probably need to go back to that point where we left off last time. For now though, let's focus on the task at hand. The last kid here is easily bypassed. Let's see what this present here holds in store for Snake.
What are you doing with the stocking again?
Is that what this is? This was supposed to help me get past metal floors, but it's all ruined because of the eye holes I made to wear it over my head.
Wait, you wore the stocking over your head?
Well, yeah. I mean, I figured I was supposed to wear it like a balaclava.
All you've got now is a pretty holy sock.
Yeah, but this was supposed to help me walk over metal floors without making any noise. Surely we could work backwards and figure out how we'd do such a thing.
I get it. Like 6 degrees of separation.
Right. So this is a holy sock.
What are some other holy things you know?
Foxholes, air holes.
Wormholes, plot holes. Oh, this is no good. Take a look at your other items. Maybe there's a running theme going on.
Well, a lot of my items are Christmassy.
Great. So, what are some Christmas things that are holy?
Well, there's that song. How's it go? Something about a holy night.
That's it, Snake. Silent night, holy night. Holy sock, silent sock.
Ah, brother. What a stretch.
As long as you have the holy sock equipped, you'll be able to walk over metal floors without making any noise. Also, the extra traction should let you walk on ice without slipping around.
Yes indeed, we have just acquired a sock with a hole in it, and following Otacons' absolutely flawless logic, we should be able to use it to walk across metal surfaces without making noise. In addition, we can also equip the sock to walk across frozen surfaces like this one normally, an ability that will surely come in handy later down the line. Right now though, we have already reached that point where we're not really going to see anything new until we get back to that room where we left off last time. So as we cross the helipad and enter the elevator just like we did at the start of the last episode, we can once again fast forward the action a little bit. For the next few moments here, you're not going to see anything you haven't already seen in the last episode. Don't make the mistake of frantically skipping ahead just yet though. In just a few seconds we're going to reach a point that we passed by last episode. It is located in this next room right here, specifically in the lower left corner. To get to this present here without knocking anyone out, as is the goal for this non-lethal playthrough, the holy sock will already come in handy.
You found the Hollowed Eye.
Hollowed Eye?
It's a special eyepiece that's powered by memories of Christmases past. Snake, can you remember your fondest Christmas memories?
Not really. All of my Christmases have been pretty terrible. Last year all I got was coal. Before that, I accidentally assassinated St. Nick.
Oh, that's right. With St. Nick out of the picture, the Christmas season quickly grew out of favor. Christmas spending stopped almost entirely, which put the global economy in a bit of a bind. That's when 2 scientists published their work on holistic delusion, or holodel, a way of fooling the mind into seeing an idealized version of the past by filtering out the sad blues and sickly greens of the visual field, but compensating with an amplified red component.
Rose-tinted glasses, huh?
Exactly. The Holod-Eye is a consumer product using the Holodell technology.
Great, but how's this gonna help with the mission?
Well, Snake, the Holod-Eye is powered by Christmas memories, and the compensating effect is much stronger on people with particularly sad Christmas experiences. Seeing as you're single-handedly responsible for ending Christmas cheer all around the world, I'm guessing your Christmas memories are unspeakably haunting, soul-crushing even.
Well, when you put it that way.
In that case, the Holod-Eye should overcompensate by amplifying not only red light, but infrared light as well.
So I'll be able to see in infrared.
That's right.
Well, why didn't you just say so in the first place?
Right, so we have acquired the Holod-Eye, essentially infrared goggles. I'll be honest, I consider these to be entirely optional. The only thing they do is highlight enemies to make them a bit more easily visible, but as far as I can tell, there is no section in the game where they are specifically required. So let's take them off again, put on the socks to cross the metal tiles, and then speed things up once more. From this point onwards, it will be a repetition of the strategies used last episode. The socks once more briefly help us cross the metal tiles here, and they also speed up our progress across any icy surfaces, but apart from that, we're not really doing anything new. I believe that this part of the game's design was very much intended by Arthur Lee, who made this game. Fans of the Metal Gear Solid series will most likely be aware of one or two infamous backtracking segments, most of them heavily criticized for just artificially adding length to the game, which I suppose this section here does just as well. And I'll be honest here, even a satirical nod to flaws of the original game does not make repeating the same flaws any more enjoyable. Thankfully though, this game here is overall much shorter and probably a little easier too, and we have also almost made it, just one more door to pass through and we're back to where we left off last time. So then, let's equip the Holy Sock and calmly walk across the metal tiles here. There is a kid standing around the corner here guarding an elevator, but that elevator is closed so we don't need to bother with it. Instead, let's grab another item.
Snake, you found the Polar Gun. The Polar Gun is an experimental weapon developed by the US government. It was originally intended for use by the Polar Berets, a top-secret special ops group that carried out missions in the Antarctic. It fires a small syringe filled with a powerful polarizing serum that gives its target incredible polar bear powers.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
The initial tests showed remarkable results. In fact, the US government was so pleased with its findings that it deployed the Polar Gun for use in its ill-fated Operation Intrude N90.
Operation Intrude N90? Never heard of it.
Of course you haven't. Operation Intrude N90 was the government's first attempt to infiltrate Santa's workshop in the North Pole. They were after his naughty and nice list, as it contained invaluable information about everyone in the world. Information that could help profile suspected terrorists. The Polar Berets were to parachute onto the North Pole and immediately inject themselves with the Polar Gun in order to survive out in the harsh climate. There was just one problem.
What was that?
It was winter.
Well, of course it was winter. When else would they be able to find Santa Claus?
Snake, do you have any idea what polar bears do during the winter?
They hibernate, don't they?
Exactly. Each and every one of the Polar Berets followed their orders and injected themselves with the serum. Within seconds, each and every one of them fell into a deep sleep. The mission was a resounding failure.
So what you're saying is that I could use this polarizing serum as a tranquilizer?
Yeah. Aim the Polar Gun by holding down the control button. When you let go of control, you'll fire a syringe in the direction you're facing. The Polar Gun can only be used 6 times, but you can reload it by touching floating ammo boxes. Just don't ask me where those ammo boxes suddenly came from, or how they're floating. There's probably a great deal of science behind it.
I'm guessing something to do with nanomachines.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right, so long story short, we have essentially just acquired a tranquilizer gun, and per the rules of this pacifist playthrough, we will not be allowed to use it on anyone. As you can imagine, that's going to make things a bit more tricky going forward. After all, also counting the Novocaine, we have 2 weapons now, and while the game does perhaps not explicitly expect us to use them, coming up we will encounter a few situations where they would make things a whole lot easier. Instead, we have to rely on our wits, timing, and the trusty old cardboard box, which is going to make the next section here a bit complicated. Once kid number 2 here has passed, we equip the sock to walk silently across the metal tiles. We then stop on the one behind the large crate here and re-equip the box. This makes noise that the children then come to investigate, which clears the path into the next room. Here, a lone child is patrolling in a narrow circle around a Christmas tree, not too difficult for us to sneak by. For this next area then, we equip the sock, and timing is important here. If we stay in these little corners, we will remain hidden from view, and since there is nothing of interest in the lower left quarter of this area, we can quickly dash towards the exit. Now, despite a section of metal tiles coming up, we want to equip the cardboard box again for this one, because at the end of those metal tiles a kid is standing guard, a kid that we conveniently just lured away after it spotted our box for a second. At this point, we just need to time the gap between the two security cameras here, and we're almost done. Our final enemy here is a kid who's not moving, so we put on the deer mask and create a small distraction. Once the coast is clear, we then sneak past, and in the next area we are then finally going to find some elevators.
This elevator's busted too. I'm all out of ideas, Snake.
So, all of this effort just to find this elevator broken too. Thankfully though, there is a bit more to this room than just these two elevators. We only need to navigate around one more child standing guard here, before we then find a rather interesting item.
Snake, looks like you found the Nikita missile launcher. The Nikita fires a missile that can be controlled via remote control.
Don't you find it a bit weird that there would be a missile launcher just lying around in the middle of a shopping mall the night before Christmas?
Yeah. You've got a point. Tell you what, let's call it a mistletoe launcher.
Mistletoe launcher?
Yeah, it's just like the Nikita, but it fires... let's see. Let's say it fires a missile with a pair of lips on it. A kissel.
Otacon, you can't just...
That's right. And smooching a kid with the kissel will overwhelm them. With love. Aim the mistletoe launcher by holding down the control button. When you let go of control, you'll fire a kissel, which you can then control with your arrow keys.
Kissels? Mistletoe launcher? This is ridiculous. Why should I believe a single thing you've said?
Well, because if you don't, you'll end up blowing up a lot of
All right, I believe you.
One last thing. The mistletoe launcher can only hold one kissel at a time, so once you've fired it, you'll have to find more kissels around the mall. With that mistletoe launcher, you should be able to destroy the electrical switchboard. It's in that room filled with gas. By destroying an electrical switchboard, you deactivate all the electrical floors in that area. You should head back up to the 20th floor. From there, you can access an elevator that'll take you down to the 10th floor.
What's on the 10th floor?
An elevator you can take all the way down to the 1st floor.
Oh.
Yes indeed, the tension is increasing. We have just acquired a missile launcher, and once more we will not be allowed to use it except for one very specific occasion, and don't worry, that occasion will not involve any enemy casualties. Unfortunately, and that is why we once again speed things up here, until we get to that section, we will once more need to do a hefty amount of backtracking. Not quite all the way back to the roof, but honestly fairly close to it, and non-lethally there is one room in particular that is very tricky in reverse, and it is this one here. First of all, we need to distract the kid near the Christmas tree, but crucially we need to do so without attracting anyone else's attention. Then we need to rush over to the right side here and knock on the wall a second time, mostly to get the two kids blocking the path out of the way. As you can see though, in our case it pretty much attracts the entire map. Once all four enemies have their backs turned to us, we then rush through. We don't really need to pay any mind to the metal tiles here. At this point, it's once more all about the timing. With just a bit of patience, a gap will eventually open up, and just a few steps further in the next area here, and we are essentially back where we left off at the end of the last episode. And, well, I don't really think I need to show this next section to you for the fourth time, so let's just skip ahead a few minutes here, until we re-emerge in this area, the area in which we picked up the Hollowed Eye a few moments ago. You may recall that very early on in the last episode, we already crossed through here once and took the exit at the top left. However, we soon found that path blocked because the floor was electrified. Now we can head in there once more and maybe do something to clear the path.
With that mistletoe launcher, you should be able to destroy the electrical switchboard. It's in that room filled with gas.
Now, this next bit here is going to be tricky because, well, you can see it on the minimap, our target is in the top right corner of this area, and we need to steer a rather fast-moving missile over there without hitting anything else.
shut off the electrical floors. But don't forget about the gas.
What do I do about that?
Just don't breathe it.
So, the section up ahead is filled with toxic gas, and it will deplete Snake's breath faster than he can move through. Good thing we still have that old cardboard box without air holes, made entirely obsolete by the other one except for this section here, where the absence of air holes also prevents any gas from passing through. The next room here then does not have any enemies whatsoever, and just like that we now find ourselves back on the roof. Not exactly where we want to be, considering our goal is to go down to the first floor, but this roof has elevator access, and in order to get to them we need to navigate a long icy section. Of course, that is no problem for Snake with the Holy Sock equipped. As you can see, the first two guards here are quickly bypassed. The elevator is already in sight on the left here. Only one more guard stands between us and it, and as soon as this kid has its back turned to us, we are on our way.
A part of my heart thinks that you'll always be here in my heart. A partridge on a pear tree brings no solace to a pair that is apart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas, and I can feel that you are near. But on Christmas Eve you'll wake up and I'll have disappeared. So lend me your Happy New Year's, for I'll only say this twice. I will forever love you, but only if you're nice. If you're nice.
The elevator to the first floor should be nearby.
Right, ominous bit of music here during the elevator ride, possibly foreshadowing something. For now though, we need to navigate another area full of enemies, and that first knock on the wall here was absolutely crucial. Followed by a second one here, it now clears a pretty long section. The most important bit is moving that second kid here out of position, otherwise it can only be taken out with the tranquilizer gun or the missile launcher, and of course we do not allow ourselves to use those. For the final two children here, we then once again equip the Holy Sock. I think they can both be dashed past in one swift motion, but at this stage of the game let's not take any risks. We have not been detected yet, and I don't plan on starting. At this point, we then only wait for the camera to move its field of view, and with that we are home free. Up ahead is the elevator to the first floor.
Watch it, Snake. There's a tadpole ambush up ahead.
I know, I remember.
You haven't encountered the ghost of Christmas past, have you?
The second ghost?
Yes.
I can't say I have.
I see.
This must be the elevator that takes me to the first floor.
Remember, we overheard the ghost of Christmas present say that there's a tadpole ambush up ahead, so you'll have to be extra careful.
I've done all right so far.
Just remember, they can't be distracted by normal means.
Got it. I'm pressing the button for the first floor now.
Warning. Weight limit exceeded.
Snake, you haven't gained a considerable amount of weight during the mission, have you?
Are you kidding me? There wasn't a ration in sight.
Is there anyone else around?
There's no one else here. Huh?
What is it, Snake?
Just a box. I'm seeing things. That box have started to move.
Tadpole?
Huh?
Unbox!
Snake? What's going on? Snake? Snake!
Otacon.
Snake? Snake! Ah, you're all right.
Sort of. Could use that damn stocking now, that's for sure.
What are you... Oh, Snake? What happened to all of your clothes?
I don't know. I just came to a few minutes ago. I don't hear any music.
You must not be in the mall anymore. An awful lot's happened in the hours you've been blacked out, Snake.
Somewhat conveniently, too, considering this game's $0 budget and its 3-month development time.
For a start, the president arrived at Outer Savin Mall, but the ghosts were nowhere to be found.
No ghosts.
Right. Your mission now is to find your clothes and find out where the ghosts have gone. In that order, Snake.
Okay, so after a tadpole ambush inside the elevator, Snake wakes up without clothing, in a place that looks vaguely familiar, but definitely not like the Outer Savin Mall.
Now that I think about it, Otacon, this place looks familiar.
Now, Snake himself seems to remember something about being in this place before too, and that is no coincidence. This here is in fact the house where the first game took place, the much shorter adventure that we played last year. Thankfully though, at least so far, the house is free of traps, enemies or other obstacles.
Following in his footsteps.
Cindy Lou Who, how'd you find me here?
Call it a hunch.
And these footprints on the floor here were in fact left by coal that Snake stepped in the last game. Some of the yellow striped patches on the ground also contained laser traps. Once more, those are thankfully no longer present.
That's right. This is where I told Nick how to get past the infrared sensors. This must be 14015 Hideo Drive.
Where you assassinated Saint Nick.
Wait, don't take another step. You're gonna set off an alarm.
Who are you?
Call me Santa's little helper. I'm a little helper, not a big one.
Yeah.
Now, before we leave, let's quickly check the area to the left here. It doesn't go much further than the corridor on the left that you can see here, and even though this would be a great place to hide an Easter egg or secret item, we only find something if we move forward.
I found my sneaking suit, but I've lost the Santa Claus camo.
Don't worry about it, Snake. With the network adapter, you can just download another copy of the Santa Claus camo onto your copy of Metal Gear Solid 3.
But Metal Gear Solid 3 is about Naked Snake, not me.
Well, you were a naked Snake until a few minutes ago.
Good point. Thanks, Otacon. You really know how to cheer me up.
That's what I'm here for, Snake. Now go complete the mission.
Yeah, see ya.
Boy, I hope he doesn't find out the special camouflage feature's been down since 2008.
Right, we've got our suit back, and with that access to the minimap and to all of our items. The Santa camouflage is gone and will remain that way for the rest of the game, but it also looks to me like we will no longer need to hide necessarily. As we now make our way down to the second floor of the building, we are almost to the exit. And, well, we'll see what awaits us once we step outside. The house itself, meanwhile, is really just a long winded pathway to get to the suit and then eventually outside. There are no further secrets or Easter eggs hidden anywhere. And with that, we have made it to the first floor, at the end of which lies the exit. Last year, playing the first game, we started right on the other side of that. This year, we can move a little bit further. The map in the top right already reveals it. There is something waiting for us around the corner to the left here.
Snake, look over there. It looks like...
Merry Gear.
Don't worry, Snake. According to the Ghost of Christmas Present, the Merry Gear can't be activated without the 3 passcodes. As long as we can destroy it before the ghosts get their hand on the passcode encoded in Saint Nick's brain. That thing is just an oversized anime mech figurine.
Otacon, who's that sitting on top of it?
Huh, it looks like a postman.
Special delivery, Snake.
A sniper!
Watch it, Snake! He's gone postal!
I am the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and let me assure you, the best is yet to come.
Is that some sort of reference?
Yeah, that guy could really work on his delivery.
I am the angel of death, the grim reaper, and rain or shine, I'll never fail to deliver. The ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas past. In death, you achieve more than you could ever achieve in life.
Ghost of Christmas Past. I don't remember defeating him.
We 3, the sons of the 3 wise men. Yet only one could be rightful inheritor of the title of Father Christmas. The ghost of Christmas present, the son of Frosty Frost, Jack Frost. A milk-clogging buffoon to bring happiness to the world in the form of milk. As if such a thing were even possible. Once I recovered his father's passcode, he was of little further use to me. And the ghost of Christmas past. Ah, the son of Saint Nick.
The son of Saint Nick.
Raised by his foster parents to deny the existence of his very own father. The fool knew nothing of Saint Nick, and even less of his passcode. I had no use for such a compatriot.
So you can't...
That's right, Snake. Are you aware of the Santa Claus?
Santa Claus?
Yes, the Santa Claus. It is a rule, a curse of the Saint Nick line. When all belief in a Nick is lost, then that Nick shall simply disappear from existence. It was all just a matter of convincing myself that Nick Jr. was nothing more than a child's fantasy.
So you backstabbed your comrades in order to inherit the title of Father Christmas.
Ha! I, the son of the little drummer boy, deserve the title most of all.
Drummer boy.
And anyways, the past and the present, what purpose do they serve than to pave the road for the future?
But you still haven't figured out the last passcode.
No, not yet. But now that I've got you here, it's only a matter of time. A postman I may be, but it is you who has made the delivery this time, Snake, and I'll gladly pay the shipping and handling in bullets.
Okay, looks like we have met the ghost of Christmas yet to come, manning the merry gear, equipped with a sniper rifle, and very eager to shoot us down if we step too close.
It seems like all of the ghosts are delivery men of some kind.
And disgruntled ones at that.
Maybe there's some way you can use his occupation against him, kinda like you did with the milkman.
Now, that is a smart idea, and if you've paid close attention, you may have noticed that we walked past a mailbox earlier. Unfortunately, we don't really have an item in our inventory that can interact with it, so maybe we need to get ourselves shot a few more times to gain more clues.
Seems impossible for you to get anywhere near him. Maybe there's some way of getting him to come to you.
A good thought as well. In the past, we were able to lure enemies towards us by knocking on the wall. The deer mask, of course, not strictly necessary for this, but with or without it, this approach too is met with little success.
I've kinda noticed... Well, he seems to be aiming at your feet and not your head. Seems like he doesn't necessarily want you dead.
Alright, shooting at our feet, he says, so how about we approach in a cardboard box, and with that not working, how about we switch to the holy sock?
This ghost is a postman. I was thinking, could he perhaps have a thing against digital distribution?
Digital distribution?
Yeah, the transfer of information across digital channels, like the internet. It only makes sense that an old geezer like the ghost of Christmas yet to come would have a problem against a technology that's quickly making his own work irrelevant.
You're right. After all, this entire mission was transferred over the internet. The internet's bound to be able to transfer other things as well.
Right, so you might already be able to see where this is going. Let's have Otacon spell it out for us though, after getting ourselves shot 2 more times.
Snake, try checking this game's directory for some kind of package to drag and drop onto the game window.
Window? Directory? Drag and drop? What the hell are you talking about?
Jeez, what? You never heard of a computer? Get with the times, Grandad.
Right, once more we have ourselves a 4th wall breaking solution to this fight. All we need to do is drag this package file from the game's directory onto the game's window.
Great! You found the PSG.
Finally! Give me something to shoot.
Sorry, Snake. PSG stands for Package of Sleep Grenades. The PSG contains one remote detonated grenade that emits a sleeping gas. Maybe you could use it against the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
There's no way I'll be able to throw a grenade that far.
So at this point, the PSG, the package of sleep grenades, has been added to our inventory. Unfortunately though, there really does not seem to be any way to throw them, and even with the package in our possession we can still not get close to our enemy, so there must be some other way of getting the package from A to B.
It seems like all of the ghosts are delivery men of some kind.
And disgruntled ones at that.
Maybe there's some way you can use his occupation against him, kinda like you did with the milkman.
And this repetition of one of the first messages then spells it out for us. How about we just put the package into the mailbox and have it delivered that way?
Rain or shine,
Here he comes!
Is he on a wheelchair?
special
Pummel him
delivery.
to the ground!
Freeze! It's been a long time, Snake.
Huh?
It's all thanks to you, Snake, that I, Timothy Cratchit, will become the next Father Christmas.
Timothy Cratchit? You mean you're Tiny Tim, St. Nick CO, and Operation Secret Santa?
Ha! They stopped calling me that years ago, after my father, Bob Cratchit, died of asphyxiation whilst lodged in a chimney. Do you know what he was doing, Snake? He was pretending to be Santa Claus for his children. Ah, how ironic it was that it was the Christmas spirit that stopped the rhythm of Bobby, the little drummer boy Cratchit's heart. Then, of course, the media got wind of the story and started calling me Tragic Tim.
Tragic Tim?
That's right, Snake. Born an invalid, but to die the king of Christmas time. All I need from you, Snake, and we can do this the easy way or the hard way, is Santa's passcode.
But I don't know Santa's passcode. I thought this was why you were going to bargain with the president in the first place.
Ha! And risk getting the US military involved? I think not. When I learned that Jack Frost had been defeated, I wondered to myself, could this be the legendary Solid Snake? Trying to throw another wrench into my grand plan?
Another wrench?
Ha! You still don't know, do you? 3 years ago, I sent St. Nick on a mission called Operation Secret Santa. A mission to a certain 14015 Hideo Drive to deliver a Christmas gift to the 10th floor. I constructed that house, Snake.
Impossible.
Perhaps you didn't notice the outright lack of windows on the inside, in spite of them being on the outside. Or the sheer number of infrared sensors, much more than would be necessary in any household. Or perhaps the fireplaces without log racks didn't give away that they were in fact false fireplaces. It was a trap, Snake, a prison in which I would keep St. Nick, torturing him until he revealed his passcode. Unfortunately, I ran into an unforeseeable inconvenience.
Unforeseeable inconvenience?
You, Snake! You were not part of Operation Secret Santa! Had it not been for your assassination of St. Nick, Operation Secret Santa would have been a success, and I would have become Father Christmas. Then, of course, the US government took possession of Nick's body in order to cover up the death of Christmas. It was by chance alone that they'd left behind Santa's hat. I was left with no choice but to come up with another plan. A plan to negotiate for Nick's brain to uncover the passcode stored deep within. To do that, I needed access to the SOC system. And for that, I needed to get in touch with the children of the three wise men.
The ghosts of Christmas past.
That's right. You see, Santa's hat could only be used by Nick Jr., Santa's son. Under the pretense of activating merry gear for mutual gain, I created the Ghosts of Christmas Past. Little did they know that the merry gear was not actually a bipedal sleigh with the ability of launching gifts from any location.
It wasn't?
Of course not. What use would that be to anyone? No. The merry gear was actually a VR training simulation course designed to transform one person into the next Santa Claus.
But why would you want to do that?
To bring an end to the tragedy of Christmas.
Tragedy of Christmas?
It was only by becoming Father Christmas myself that I could ensure the children of the three wise men would never become it. By becoming Father Christmas, I could end Christmas once and for all.
A world without Christmas? But what kind of world is that to live in?
Snake, that's not something you'll ever have to worry about. Now tell me, Snake. Tell me or I'll extract it from your brain. his passcode.
I don't know Santa's code.
What were Saint Nick's final words?
Santa's last words were,
Yes, out with it!
Happy Christmas to all. And to all, a good night.
Right, so at this point, the credits will begin to roll, but don't turn off just yet. The game still has 1 or 2 curveballs left to throw our way.
A part of my heart thinks that you'll always be here in my heart. A partridge on the pear tree brings you solace to a pair that is apart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas, and I can feel as you are here. But on Christmas Eve you'll wake up and I will disappear. So lend me your happy news. Oh, only say this once. I will forever love you, but only if you're nice. You're nice.
Verifying passcodes. Frosty Frost.
Don't cry. I'll be back again someday.
Entered by Jack Frost. Bob Cratchit.
God bless us, everyone.
Entered by Timothy Cratchit. Saint Nick.
Happy Christmas to all. And to all, a good night.
Entered by Dave Black. Merry Gear activated. Please enter the VR chamber.
Snake, you're not really thinking of...
Otacon, there aren't very many things left for an old man like me, but to bring joy and happiness to the ends of the earth, why, there's nothing I'd like more.
Well, if that's how you feel, I won't stop you from stepping into the Merry Gear.
It's been a real pleasure working with you, Otacon. I want you to know that you'll always be a friend, even after I've become Santa Claus.
You'll always be a good friend too, Snake. Well, guess I'll be seeing you next Christmas then, huh, Snake?
Not if I'm doing my job correctly. Merry Christmas, Otacon.
Merry Christmas, Snake.
Huh? Cindy Lou Who?
I can't let you step into that machine, Snake. For the position of Santa Claus has already been filled.
Saint Nick! But I shot you in the head!
Yeah, and I'm not too pleased about that. But the true spirit of Christmas lies not within the head, but the heart. I'd anticipated Tragic Tim's plans from the start.
How'd you do that?
Why, my list of naughty and nice, of course. Once I discovered his intentions, I knew I had to stop him before he could fully act on his impulses. So I planted some information on the US government's encrypted security channel, namely a tall tale about a project called Los Bigotes Perfectos.
You made that up?
I knew that by planning a story about Metal Gear, I could get you to sneak into Tim's trap with me, and ultimately help me fake my own death in front of Tim's eyes.
But what about Nick's, your brain? Don't tell me it was just a pile of spaghetti or something.
Just another piece of misinformation I planted after the Secret Santa incident. That was all it took to convince both Tim and the president of the brain's existence.
Yeah, it did seem a bit hard to believe that your brain could have managed to remain intact after a shot in the head. So in the end, it all had to do with belief, huh?
Belief is a powerful thing. Tim used it to deceive the ghosts of Christmas past and to end Christmas once and for all. But in the end, it was your beliefs that prevailed.
I don't see what my beliefs have to do with anything.
The Santa Claus, Snake. This entire mission would have been for naught had it not been for your belief in my existence.
I don't believe in Santa Claus. I'm too old for that crap.
Though you'd even seen my dead body with your own eyes, in your heart you still held hope that I was alive. It was this belief alone that continued to allow me to exist long after the assassination.
Well, just don't go around telling everyone. I've got a reputation as a hard mercenary to uphold.
Your secret's safe with me.
Well, I guess this means goodbye.
Afraid it does. Chances are we'll never run into each other again.
Not if we keep doing our jobs correctly anyways.
Goodbye, Snake.
Merry Christmas, Santa Claus. Otacon, the mission was a success.
Have yourself a Merry Christmas as well, Snake. And a Happy New Year.
I feel you approaching. I've waited all year. I wonder to myself whether you're real. If I could unwrap you, what would I reveal? I promise that I have been nice. No need to check twice. I know you've only got one night, so hold me close until daylight. Oh, Mr. Claus, why must you leave? I'll be lonely until Christmas Eve. Someday you go through the snow. Someday you feed on some eggnog. I clutter on the lawn. I count 7 swans and you're gone. I know you've only got one night, so hold me close until daylight. Oh, Mr. Claus, why must you leave? I'll be lonely until Christmas Eve. Until Christmas Eve. Until Christmas Eve.
So what happened?
I don't know. It seems like I might have inhaled a bit too much of that sleeping gas. I can't remember a thing after I wished you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, your codec call cut out there too. Well, I assumed you'd gotten into the merry gear.
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because when I woke up, the merry gear was gone.
Oh, well, at least we've got Tragic Tim. We can interrogate him once he wakes up.
Yes. It all went according to plan. Yes. They all entered their passcodes, but the merry gear is safely out of their hands. It was as easy as hiding a package in the mission files. They thought it was sleeping gas. Yeah, the poison gas was quite effective, as was the forgetting serum. He won't remember that we'd even met. He had no idea. I'm convinced he'd believe anything after all that double and triple crossing. The corroborating information we learned from playing Merry Gear Solid's Secret Santa only convinced him further. With the VR training, my voice was nearly indistinguishable from the original. The bloodlines of the 3 wise men are cut, and the merry gear is ours. Not a single person can get in our way. If only the 3 wise men had been more complicit. Not a single one of them entered their passcode when they had the chance. Yes, the hi-ho-ho-ho shall rise again. Problems? I assumed it was just a matter of... Bah! Humbug! Then put the warheads into boxes, you nincompoop!
And there we are, with Merry Gear Solid 2 The Ghosts of Christmas Past fully completed. I won't even attempt to explain the details of the plot we were just explained. The absolute convolutedness of it is obviously a nod to the Metal Gear Solid series too, but you are very welcome to discuss everything we just learned in the comments down below. I'm pretty sure I missed a few references here and there too, so feel free to point out anything you've noticed so that we can all learn a bit and appreciate all this game has to offer. For today though, we've reached the end of this Christmas mini-series. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course also go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or become a channel member or Patreon supporter. Thank you all so much for watching, happy holidays, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.